Welcome to Fashion Your Seatbelt, your first-class seat to one-on-one conversations with the fashion industry's top voices. I'm Jessica Michaud, and I created this podcast to share the joy I have in getting to know all the amazing people who bring this creative, inventive, and extraordinary business to life. You'll get to hear the cadence of their voices, the sound of their laughter, and feel firsthand how passionate they are about what they do. But before we get this show on the road, I want to say a quick thank you to GPS Radar for making this episode possible. GPS Radar is the members-only website where leading fashion brands and media connect. Also, I just want to remind you to leave a review. Stars are really trending right now, and it helps other very stylish listeners like yourself find the show. Now buckle up, and let's get started. Belgian designer Cedric Charlier is about to celebrate two milestones in his life: the 5th anniversary of his brand and his 40th birthday. Both dates have kind of snuck up on him, and that's because he's the kind of designer who is so incredibly focused on his work that he doesn't pick up on these sort of things. In fact, that's always been the case with Cedric, who studied at the famous Cambre fashion school in Belgium and worked on the design teams at Celine during the reign of Michael Kors and perfected his craft alongside Alber Elbaz during his Lanvin years. From there, he became the artistic director of Cacharel before the Italian fashion giant Aeffe came knocking on his door, making him a dream offer to back the launch of his own signature brand. Since then, Cedric has built up a name for himself, not only for his beautifully cut garments and attractive graphic designs that make real-world clothing look and feel special, but also in the way in which he approaches the fashion system itself. He presents his menswear and womenswear together, has made a conscious decision to only produce 2 collections a year instead of the endless slog of pre-collection runway shows, capsules, cruise, resort collections that have pretty much filled up every waking hour of most modern designers' lives these days. Instead, he gives himself the time to be inspired, to find interesting partnerships to build creative collaborations with, like his new t-shirt team-up with the Fruit of the Loom company, and his choice to show his clothing in a presentation format so that buyers and journalists can have an up-close and personal interaction with his work, all underline that Cedric has his own elegant, understated approach to the business of fashion. I caught up with Cedric at his favorite French bistro to talk about his career, the choices that he has made, and why being a fashion designer might not be a lifelong pursuit. First of all, let's talk about the fall-winter collection, because you showed men's and women's together in Milan after showing in New York.
Yeah, completely.
So there's been a lot of re-examining or thinking about how you're going to...
At that moment, my idea was to present my first collection during the Men's Fashion Week, to introduce and to present my women's collection too. I quite like the idea to present both together. They have real sense for me because they have sense in my creation process too. As you know, it's, I think, the best time or the right time for the selling too, and that's very important for me. So that's why I introduced during the Men's Fashion Week.
Okay. And then you moved on for your spring-summer collection. You didn't do a fashion show at all. You actually went ahead and did a presentation. And what made you decide to skip a fashion show completely?
Yeah, for the second one, I keep the time, I keep the date.
Yeah.
But I want to push the image, so that's why I develop more videos, more picture, because as you know, the digital takes a huge place, so that's why I decided to move.
Okay. And what has the reaction been to this change?
Actually, my selling are quite good.
Okay.
So it means that there's a sense to make this. So no, the reaction was quite okay, because I was more close to the people, more close to the press, more close to the customer. I have time to talk with everybody, and that's my feeling.
And you did a partnership with Fruit of the Loom. Is this your first collaboration?
It's the first collaboration, yeah.
And what made you decide they were the one you wanted to do it with?
Yeah, I want to make some t-shirts, like real ones. So more than to trying to develop by myself and to make in Italy or another place, I say why not to talk and to ask to one of the most important brands. So we decided to call Fruit of the Loom, and we have a first meeting and a second one. and that's the beginning of the experience. So I was going to New York, and in my head, it was normally for one shot, but immediately we decided to make a long collaboration. So it's for 2 years. So it was like the introduce.
Okay. And so then how did you make the classic Fruit of the Loom t-shirt your own, something that Cedric?
I made like 4 models, 4 style, and I decided to rework on the classic one, so the one with the pocket one. I made another one with the print, and I play with the logo of Fruit of the Loom, and I cut the logo and I play with this. Another one was about stripe, so I take all the color palette that I developed for the t-shirt and I
assembled
all together as a new stripe. So it's not a print stripe; it's a real stripe. And the last one is a déstructuré t-shirt. So I take a S size plus a large size, cut it in 2 parts,
put them together.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit. So you're a closed book.
So I come from Belgium.
Yes, that I knew.
I come from the landscape, and I decided to study it when I was 18. I was like completely passionate by horse, and I make jumping like till my 18. And after I decided to move to fashion, and I begin my school. It was quite a quick time in Brussels. Only 2 years and a half, because I win a competition. It was the Concours des Jeunes Créateurs Belges at that time. And it was organized by LVMH at that moment.
Before it became the famous LVMH prize. Yes.
So I win the first prize, and I was introduced to Michael Kors at Celine at that time. So it was my beginning in Paris.
You spent time with Michael Kors, and then Jean-Paul Nut, and then at Lanvin with Alber. Can you talk a little bit about working with those 3 different men and what you learned, took away from each of them?
It was completely different. When I was working with Michael Kors, I was more in the accessories part.
When he was at Celine,
so for me, it was to discover a huge brand are working. It was my first experience, huge house, and I was 21 at that time, so it was quite impressive.
Yeah.
And Michael is a really incredible creator, I can say. I discovered all American creators are working. It was completely different from my Belgian background, as you can
How is
imagine.
it different? How is he different?
Because of the culture, because of the history, because of the past. In Belgium we have no fashion past. My dream at that time was to working for Yves Saint Laurent, but at that time Yves was top it.
Yeah.
So I told me that Jean-Paul, as the first assistant in the past, maybe can learn me something. As a Belgian guy, he was like, I was quite more close to him, and it was really interesting. He really learned me how to drape, how to play with the fabric, what was his vision of the minimal at that time, and 6 years with Alber Elbaz.
And where were you? Were you with his design team? What was your?
Yeah, I was in the design team. I was first in charge of different things, everything that was outside of the atelier during 1 year. And afterwards, I became the first assistant with another girl. And it was the very great moment at Lanvin.
Yeah.
It was really incredible. It was the moment that we are all working around the table. It was like a kitchen, and it was like a lot of discussion, a lot of blowing, a lot of fitting. It was my school, actually.
That was your real school.
It was my real school.
So you take away from that time with Alber Elbaz. What did you learn? You talked about draping with Jean-Paul.
Draping, and I think that Alber learned me something really important, really interesting, that to respect the woman, to never forget that women have a soul, women have a face, and you need to see the face more than to see the dress in the first. That was really important.
And then you jump ship and you decide to take over Cacharel.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do that? That was such a big move.
It was coming to me, and I take that job as an experience because I was not really expert in the print and in the colors, and it was the first real job as a first.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So there was a big blow up at the end of your time at Cacharel, right?
Yeah.
Where you left the company and Aeffe, which owned Cacharel, was like, you're nuts for getting rid of him because he's amazing talent, and decided to back your own label. Tell me what that experience was like to be so validated.
With Cacharel, I met Massimo Ferretti from the Aeffe group, and we decided to begin in the story.
And so, for somebody who doesn't know your brand, how do you separate yourself out from everybody else?
One of my obsession is about the cut. I'm constantly concentrated about the cut. It's really important for me. So that's the first part of my work and my process. And after, I love to play with colors. So it's all the time about like cut, colors, some graphism. I'm kind of each time attracted by art in general. It depends. Sometimes it can be music, but in general, it's
usually you seem to be drawn by a piece of art. Yeah.
And I try to. I think that I make naturally like real clothes that we can wear. I think about clothes for every day, for every moment, and I think that all that different thing make my signature.
And so, we're coming up on your 5-year anniversary. How does that feel to you?
It's incredible because it was yesterday. Honestly, it goes so quick. But I think that me and my team and I we made an evolution. As I say, so we decided to change the way to present. Now we have the men's collection. And I think that I go more deep and more precise in my product. And but I like the idea like to keep a human speed.
Especially in the day and age that we're living in, which is everything is so fast. It seems. I think it's just maybe you and Dries that are like 2 collections. That's it. This is all you're getting.
Because I come back to 2 collections.
Yes, you come back to 2 collections. It's like it's a conscious choice that you're making.
Completely.
Yeah. What made you decide that? Because you wanted to have a human pace, but was that the main reason?
Different thing, because first of all, it was a personal decision, and I want to have time in between. It's not necessarily the work charge, but it's the time in between, because I just want to have time for thinking about what is the next. That's why I decided to come back to 2 collections.
Next year you're going to be 40. So you're having a couple of big, 5-year anniversary. Are you freaking you out? Is that freaking you out? I mean,
like, yeah. So what about the question about?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, are you taking stock of your life, or I mean, are you feeling do you feel that coming up on you, creeping up on you, the idea of turning 40?
I think I feel like, to be honest, like 25 inside me, so I don't really think about this, honestly. I'm sorry, I don't have the right answer.
No, there's no right answer. Age is a state of mind, in my opinion.
No, I think that in my head, it's my time of working. I mean, like, I'm completely concentrated about my passion, and I think that I want to make the thing now and in the few years in front of me. After, I'm not sure I want to make that job like till Karl Lagerfeld, till the end of my life.
Yeah.
But so that's why I want to be concentrated at that moment for my work. Yeah.
All right. So then, if you don't want to be like Karl Lagerfeld and be in your mid-70s still creating your signature brand, what other passions do you have that kind of
passion, or maybe come back to something more personal? I mean, like, of course, I made some painting before and some sculpture.
I didn't know that.
Something with my hand. Yeah, I'm sure I will come back to this.
You're one of these designers that's very understated. You don't feel the need to be a rock star designer out there partying, getting your name in lights and stuff like that. Is that a conscious choice, or is that just who you are, or is it?
I think it's different thing. It's it's my nature to be like this, and I try to be honest with me. So it's true that I'm not the most popular or the most visible designer, but I think that's my way to work, and the most important for me is to that my brand exists and that my clothes are wear.
And have you seen your pieces worn in the street by people, and
Yeah.
and what's that been like for you to experience like real women wearing your clothing?
This is the, how can I say this in English, l'aboutissement.
It's the goal. It's the
We can say this because we can say that sometimes we can imagine that the fashion show is l'aboutissement of your work, but not. It's when your clothes arriving in the street.
How do you work? What is your work process like? You say you talk about needing the time in between to be creative and to get those juices flowing again, but what is your work process like? Are you somebody like Alber told me that he always likes to have music playing? What is your...
I think that it's important to understand that when you are creative, you never stop to work. I'm leaving in a few days in holidays, but it's holidays geographically, but it's not, because personally I never stop to think. I try it because it's necessary, but in my head I never stop to think. I am all the time on another collection, the next one, and sometimes we are talking about what about like la page blanche, and you need to learn about this. You need to wait that the right moment is arrived. Sometimes when the inspiration is not there, you can work on other things, on your research, or on other things that can take less your mind. But it's all the time a creative process. Yes, completely. That's why my food is my curiosity, and that's why it's really important to try to have like a lot of injection of sensation.
Yeah, stimulus. Yeah,
completely. So that's my process.
So you said you are an artist, that you like drawing and sculpting and things like that. What is it about fashion and designing clothing per se that excites you so much?
I think that I have different person in my family that give me part of that taste, but it's not for the totality. One of my grandmother was making some embroidery, another one was making some hat. I think that in my child moment it was like quite close to me, but I remember on the television I saw one interview of different important person, and I discovered the fashion world, and it was shining in my eyes.
Really? Okay.
And I remember I was 14, and I told me that life can be very hard in general, or sometimes. And personally, I don't have like a very hard moment in my child moment, but I feel that sometimes like life can be very cruel or more than this. And I think that the fashion world at that moment was something for me as not as a dream, but as a way to live.
In your mind's eye, who is the Cedric Charlier woman or man?
Both. For both, like for women and men, I don't specifically work for a type of guy or a type of woman. I prefer to think about different moments precisely, because after, for me, that my customer choose the clothes and choose the right moment. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't want to say about like eyebrow, no specific guy.
Yeah.
So
no, I like that answer very much, actually.
It's more about moment for me.
Like picking something for a moment. Okay. So these are the 5 generic fashion questions. And the first one is, who is your favorite designer, living or dead?
Cristobal Balenciaga.
What is one piece of clothing that a woman should really invest money in?
Coat.
A good coat. Okay. What is a fashion trend that you will never follow?
First of all, never say never. Gothic one.
What is your most treasured piece of clothing that you own?
My white t-shirt.
Your white t-shirt? From just your white t-shirt. Okay, interesting. Okay, final question. What do you love most about fashion?
in the process, when you work with your team, they have a lot of exchange, and that's one of the best moments, I think, because I think that it's a gift from life. It's the exchange from the other person.
That's a beautiful answer. Cedric, thank you so much for speaking today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Merci. Don't want to miss an episode of Fashion Your Seatbelt? No problem. Just go to iTunes or wherever you download your podcasts and click on the subscribe button. Then every new episode will drop into your feed automatically. No fuss, no muss. Fashion Your Seatbelt is made possible thanks to the wonderful people at Launchmetrics, the software company that is powering the fashion industry, and GPS Radar, the members-only website where leading fashion brands and media connect in style. I am a member of GPS Radar, and I can tell you, as a journalist, it has made my work life run much more smoothly. Believe me, I know. I'm Jessica Michaud.